Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Hello, my beautiful tri-state area. Welcome to our 124th weekly episode. It's always such a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you so much for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly does make it all worthwhile. Please make sure to follow me at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. And also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are streaming 24/7 on Kathy Ireland's Your Home TV platform. You can always find us on our YouTube channel, of course, at Zen Sams. We have such a great show lined up for you today. Very, very exciting stuff. In our entertainment and pop culture segment, brought to you by Bice Cucina, we're featuring my awesome friend, iHeart's very own radio DJ, Astra. She has 2 decades of on-air experience. She's on air at 103.5 KTU right here in New York and in MIA in Miami. Today, she joins me in studio to chat NYC's coolest date spots and ideas, chatting all about her career and what food gets her in the mood. In our Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift, we're featuring my good friend, actress McKenzie Westmore, famously known for her role on the soap opera Passions, but truly she's been in a ton of TV. Impressively, she also created her own cosmetic line about 8 years ago called Westmore Beauty, which can be found on the QVC and at westmorebeauty.com. She's joined by the beautiful Nikki Giavasis, beauty and wellness advocate, coach and entrepreneur, author and mega influencer. When I say mega influencer, like 2 million followers. Today, we're joined by beauty industry trailblazer Lana Kerr, CEO and founder of the incredible company CO2 Lift and Lumisque Skincare. Today, we're chatting women's health, skincare, of course, non-invasive procedures, and are you ready for it? Vaginal rejuvenation. Joining me in our travel treasures segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, we're featuring celebrity chef Andrew Mullen. Today, he joins me right here at headquarters in-house to chat from Hamptons to Vermont, celebrity restaurants and VIP scenes you ought to be checking out. Stay tuned for our entertainment and pop culture segment brought to you by Bice Cucina, chatting with our very own Astra, chatting date spots, career, and what food gets her in the mood. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Navay, a members-only travel portal exclusively available through Organo, offering members steep discounts on nightly or weekly hotel stays, cruises, auto rentals, excursions, and so much more. With its travel getaway portal, Navay makes the days of surfing multiple travel sites and spending hours evaluating the best deals done with. That's because with Navay, you are guaranteed the best prices. Plus, to gain access to an even more expansive collection of condos, hotels, cruises, vacation villas, fantasy getaways, and concierge service, there's Forever Weeks. Simply purchase a Navay Forever Weeks package one time and enjoy the benefits many times. With Forever Weeks, forever means forever. Not only does Navay guarantee you the best prices, but it is also one of the few travel portals that pays a referral bonus, in addition to you earning rewards points, which can be redeemed on the Travel Getaway portal for further discounted hotel room rates. Become a member today and navigate the world of travel. Navay, the world for you to experience. For more information, go to navay.travel. That's Navay, Nave.travel.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our entertainment and pop culture segment brought to you by Bice Cucina, we're featuring our awesome friend, iHeart's very own radio DJ, Astra. She has 2 decades of on-air experience. She's on air at 103.5 KTU in New York and on MIA in Miami. Well-versed in pop culture trends, celebrity news, and gossip, she is the most vibrant personality. She connects well with her audience, without a doubt. She's a trailblazer in her field, and I'm so excited to have her on. Today, we're chatting all about her amazing career, best date spots in New York City, what food gets her in the mood, and her thoughts on
You heard it, egg freezing. Now, nearly every big change in how we eat starts with a fad, which is really just a shared moment among a subset of diners or cooks that gains traction. Now, some fads fade away slowly, like wine coolers or molecular gastronomy, and others implode suddenly, like turmeric lattes or the pink sauce that shot up like a rocket on TikTok this year and then exploded. There are fads that build into trends and then become woven into the fabric of our everyday. Now, who knew that a fringe interest in custom roasted coffee beans in the 1960s in Berkeley, California would lead to Starbucks? That's right. People want something fun, new, and natural. Welcoming now to the show, chatting date spots, career, and what food gets her in the mood is the amazing Astra. Welcome, Stunner.
Thank you so much, Zen. What an amazing introduction. My goodness.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to have you on. You are a trailblazer in your field. But before we talk about your amazing career, let's chat food trends. So calling yourself a climatarian is so 2022. The new term is regenivore. And it's no longer about eating sustainably, which implies a state of preserving what is. It's a new generation of us, of millennials. We want food companies that are actively healing the planet through carbon-reducing agriculture, more rigorous animal welfare policies, and of course, equitable treatment of the people who grow and process the food. You are quite the foodie and tend to be at the coolest spots. I see you all over social media. What food trends have caught your attention?
Oh my goodness, what hasn't caught my attention? That's the question. It's like, I'm open to everything. I'm that person. Well, when I was growing up, I used to not have a palate of wanting to eat everything. It was always, just the basic stuff. And I've been trying to teach friends and people that I meet, just open up a little bit. I love to travel. So because I travel so much and I'm all over the world, I always try different things. So because of that, I like to try all different things here in New York City. And of course, born and raised in New York, we're the melting pot of everything. And we have every cuisine imaginable here. So why would I not go out and try everything,
Of course. And a lot of people in New York City, I mean, if you live in New York City and you're not willing to try new food, food trends or even go to new places or cool ways of ingesting something, because that's a thing too now these days, then you don't belong in a city like this. There's way too many cool spots. Now,
that's what I say. I had originally thought, to be honest with you, that I'd be able to hit every single food spot in New York City if I were to go to a different place every day for like a couple of years. But there's always new things popping up. I can't keep up. So I'm at that point where it's like, if it catches my eye or if there's something on the menu I want to try, I am in.
You're in. And what I think we're going to start seeing more is big companies looking for big changes to reduce waste in like packaging, and more chefs are going to use climate hero ingredients like teff and fava and lupin beans, and more people are going to choose food and drinks that improve their health and the planet's, of course. Even the alcohol industry has started throwing around words like eco-alignment. I mean, these companies don't just want to be seen as doing the right thing daily. They want to be really seen as making a positive difference. So, New York City is all about that. Now, let's chat best New York City date spots. So when looking for a romantic restaurant or bar, words like cozy and intimate and low lit probably come to mind, but I'll argue that the food and decor are just as crucial to a memorable evening. What are your top 3 New York City restaurants for date night?
3?
Do you have any?
How do you narrow it to 3?
We only have 14 minutes.
That's true. Okay, well, what if I just give you a list that I came up with?
Tell me.
So here's the thing. When it comes to New York City spots, I'm more of a, I would say, fine dining foodie. I love all fine dining restaurants, so to me, that's always a great date spot. But don't just narrow it to dates because, as I like to say, girls got to eat. So you could grab your girls. You can go to these places, too. I'm a huge fan of Lobster Club, if you haven't been there. Ixta, which is a Mexican spot, and a mezcal bar. I'm obsessed with mezcal, so you got to go there. It's got these Tulum vibes. Caviar Roost. Yes, I do like the finer things in life. So if you like caviar, get to Caviar Roost. Katsuya is an amazing Japanese spot, which they have one in LA, down in Miami. Amazing. Kima and Avra, if you like Greek food. Hunt and Fish Club for steak and seafood. Maluska, which is a new spot that I found out about in the meatpacking district. Just all I'm going to say is make sure when you're down there, you order the tiramisu dessert. It looks like caviar. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to cost you $50 too, but
oh, what? Oh my goodness.
Also, Sake no Hana is really delicious. It's part of the Tao group. And Sushi by Boo is another one of my favorites. And the reason why I mentioned the sushi spots is because I'm a huge omakase fan. And people are like, what's omakase? It means chef's choice. So you're sitting at the bar at the sushi bar. the chef is actually preparing each piece for you in front of you, presents it to you each time, so you eat one piece at a time. Delicious.
Love it. Wow, I love it. Well, that's definitely more than 3. Got more than I bargained for. And I'm going to also shout out The Rock, because if you're not a banker or an SNL cast member, getting all dolled up for a date at this Art Deco Rockefeller restaurant is so much fun. And given how hard reservations are at the hotspot from, the team, it's a team behind Frenchette, you'll impress your date by taking them there to begin with, let alone slurping on seafood and a luxe dessert tower while the wine flows. So that's at 45 Rock. And we definitely have to mention Bice Cucina. Oh my goodness. I love it because, number one, it's so affordable, ideally located right here in Midtown. You can walk from there to any place you want, and the drinks are so well priced. The portions are huge. You can literally share everything.
And can I just add one thing about that, please? They have the best espresso martinis.
Oh, Peter does that up big. He's a big espresso martini guy. Every time I walk in and he's sitting down in his patio that he, by the way, built himself.
Oh, wow.
It's espresso martinis. The octopus carpaccio, out of this world, and they carry Tipsy Girl wine. That's my absolute favorite, Prosecco. And so, yeah, we're definitely going to go there and check it out. Now, let's dive right in with foods that get us in the mood, Astra. So, do you have any that you want to point out here? Because I have like at least 2 that I always resort to.
That is a tough question because to me, it's not the food that would get me in the mood. It's the man taking me out that would get me in the mood. The food is just the added bonus. It's the drinks, the food, everything, the company. Because let's be honest, a guy could take you out and he might not be what you want. And
maca powder's not going to cut it. The matcha powder, though.
Exactly.
Matcha, what is this new trend? It's a powerful sex enhancer. That's what they say.
I need to know more about this. I mean, obviously, people always talk about, oysters. Every time I order oysters, they're like, ooh, oysters. I'm like, it's not like that.
Oysters are overrated.
I love oysters. West Coast Kumamoto, by the way, but in all honesty, it doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't increase anything.
No.
So that's all a fallacy in my opinion.
No, you know what? Chocolate. That's the only true love drug we have. It's
really?
Cocoa. Stimulates production of the feel-good hormone serotonin and dopamine, and contains phenylethylamine, PEA, produced by the brain in large quantities when we're falling in love. So cocoa is most sensual, made into chocolate, which melts easy and sensually in your mouth and feels good to eat and just makes us feel good. But ginger,
I just feel like a good man will do that.
Astra. Astra's like, it's really about the man.
It's about the man.
Not the food, not the matcha powder, not the ginger.
There's none to be found in New York City. That's the problem.
Ginger is everywhere at every sushi bar. So here's a good one for you. It thins the blood, which helps your body respond more quickly to sexual stimulation. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it also aids in digestion, which can be helpful to maintain libido if you've had a large meal. Mm-hmm. And it's incredibly versatile. Pickled ginger is cool. And
that's
refreshing.
My favorite. I will eat every piece of ginger when I'm at a sushi spot. And I'm like, can I get extra ginger? Thank you.
See, this is why you're always Astra incredibly happy, because you're just loading up on ginger, your every date's dream.
At least it's healthy. That's good.
Now, talk about egg freezing. I know we brought it up. So the procedure of egg freezing is this increasingly popular but expensive option for women who want to delay childbirth. But now new research documents some caveats. Apparently, how old a woman is when she freezes her eggs and how many eggs she freezes can make a significant difference in whether she will have a baby. And apparently most women who tried to become pregnant, the study found, did not succeed, often because they had waited until they were too old to freeze eggs and had not frozen them young enough. So you brought this up. Mm-hmm. What say you?
So I'm a big advocate of egg freezing. And the reason why I got into that whole thing is because, like I said, dating in New York City can be tough. I've had boyfriends long-term too, but sometimes our paths just don't go the right way. Sometimes they don't want to get married or have kids, so we're not in the same, wavelength. But I don't want to lose out on my opportunity. So I also don't want to rush to find a guy and then get into a wrong relationship and have it end in divorce, like majority of these relationships seem to be going. So for me, I just wanted to kind of freeze in time the ability to have a kid. So I did it probably at this point about maybe 8 years ago or so.
Oh, you're good. You did it early enough.
Well, here's the thing, though. It wasn't super early. It was actually, in my opinion, I thought it was going to be late. I didn't think I was going to get a lot of eggs out. And shockingly, they got out 21 and saved 19, which people are always shocked to hear because I was hoping to at least get 10. They always say if you can get about 10, you're good, or you have to do more rounds. So I did one round. the lady said to me, she goes, if your insides look as good as your outsides, we're in business, because she didn't believe my age. She was like, she said, obviously, women are born with the amount of eggs that they are going to be producing their entire lives. She said that she could check out a woman who's in her mid-20s and she could have the insides of a 45-year-old, and vice versa. A 40, 45-year-old woman could have the insides of a 25. So you really don't know until you're actually being checked out. So don't ever let anyone deter you on telling you you're too old to have a kid, because I don't buy that. It's not about age anymore. It's really about your insides and the workings of your body.
You're 100% right. And you are what you eat, you are what you ingest, you are what you inhale, all of the above. And I think if you keep your body young, you're right. This is just a stigma that we have to demystify.
I mean, look how many women are having kids at 48, 50.
Yep.
Even over 50 at this point.
I agree.
And even though people are like, you're being selfish having a kid older because you're not going to be around for them as much as you could be if you had them younger, I still say it doesn't matter, because you could be taken away tomorrow.
Yep.
So it's like, live life to the fullest, do the things that make you happy. I'm very career driven, so I've been focused on my career.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk your career.
If love comes into place, great. It'll fit right in.
Yeah. Well, you are one of the few in your career. So let's chat your incredible career. How did you get started in the radio industry? And can you tell us about your journey to becoming this incredibly famous DJ on iHeart's famous stations here?
Oh, thank you. Well, actually, ironically, I went to school for television. Television was supposed to be my entry, if I want to say it like that. I had wanted to be a television reporter. I worked at a television station. Ironically, back then, and it probably would still hold true now, they were like, we can't put you on the air because you look too young and people aren't going to take the news seriously from you. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do to look older? I can't help the way I look. And now, I've been in the business 21 years later, and people are always like, 21? Like, you look like you're 25. I'm like, I was born talking and I walked out the womb. So it's like, yeah, I'm 25. But that's the thing. At the end of the day, I don't know. I love television. I do talk a lot. I ended up doing some stuff in radio when I was in college, and there was an opening. So I said, you know what? Let me just try it out. And I haven't looked back. I've just been on the air ever since. I started on Long Island, came into the city for a little bit, went back into Long Island. Now I'm back in the city again. I've done afternoon drive in New York City. I've even been on satellite radio. Like, I've just pretty much done it all. It's like you could hear me locally, nationally, even worldwide. I even do VTuber stuff. I know I didn't even tell you about that, but that's a worldwide platform of stuff. And with everything turning into like AI soon and moving on to the whole, metaverse, it's like, for me, I'm always on the cutting edge of everything. I'm willing to try anything, especially in the beginnings, because I'd rather ride it out from the start than be part of the crew once it's already out.
Oh, wow. I love it. Well, I still have more to cover with you, but I'm going to cut to a commercial break, and I'm going to say goodbye to On Air. If you guys want to hear more of Astra on the air, you can definitely check out our extended segment on YouTube, OTT, and OTA. That was the incredible Astra. Check her out on the gram at Astra on the air, or you can head directly to her website, astraontheair.com. That was our entertainment and pop culture segment brought to you by Bice Cucina. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. iHeart Radio will be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV.
Hi, this is Kathy Ireland here on A Moment of Zen, brought to you by Your Home TV. We've developed an all-inclusive subscription-free network that you're going to love, whether it's financial freedom, fashion, beauty, health and wellness, wonderful weddings, travel and culture, cooking, entertainment, and short-form documentaries, programming for everyone. Classic films and new shows, including Kathy Ireland Presents American Dreams. We've developed this network just for you. Please check out yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcoming back to our entertainment and pop culture segment brought to you by Bice Cucina. We're featuring our awesome iHeart's very own radio DJ Astra on the air. Welcome back, Stunner.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm having so much fun.
Absolutely. So am I. So the clock ran out and I had to cut. But yes, let's keep chatting here. So I'm very interested in your opinion here. You touched on something before our commercial break that was extremely important. You said with the way radio is evolving and artificial intelligence coming into into the space, there's big changes coming. So without a doubt, I spoke about this with Maxwell just 2 weeks ago. Radio has evolved significantly with the rise of streaming platforms and podcasts. How have you adapted to these changes, and how do you see the future of radio, broadcasting, and podcasting?
To be honest with you, I know a lot of radio people seem to be getting upset. They're afraid our jobs are going to be taken. And it's crazy, but I don't see it like that. I almost see it more as it's going to help us alleviate a lot of the stress and time that we have to put into working, and we'll have more time to actually live. I feel like a lot of people work to live, they don't live to work. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to have to keep working to live. So if I could utilize AI to maybe help out on a couple of things, help me with my show prep, help me cut down on timing for doing certain things that have to get me ready for my radio show and stuff, that's a helpful tool. A lot of people look at it as it's a replacement. I don't see it as a replacement. I see it as we're evolving. And the problem is a lot of people in this day and age and forever do not like change. Anytime something is changed, people are so used to doing what they did that they are creature of habit. They don't want to move forward and try new things. But if you notice, as we've been evolving, I mean, we went from MySpace to Facebook to Instagram. We're on Threads now. Like, things are constantly moving. You might not like it when it first comes out, but now you're addicted to it. So you got to look at it like that. AI is coming out. People are not liking it. Give it a few years. You're probably going to be addicted to it because you're going to realize it's helped you out in the long run.
It's going to enhance your life. Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely not fearful of change. The only thing I am afraid of is afraid of not being able to adapt. So now, are there any artists or bands that you haven't had the chance to interview or feature on your show yet, but would love to?
Oh my goodness. That's a hard one because I feel like I've had pretty much everyone in the industry. For me, the thing I will say is if there's someone I haven't had, it would be an up and coming new artist. And I'm always all about new artists, breaking music, giving talent a platform to shine on. And I had always wanted to have like a new music show. That was one of my things. Since I started in radio, I've always been like, why can't we focus on local talent and people that are up and coming? We already know all of the mainstream names. Let's give other people an opportunity to filter in.
I love it.
There's enough room for everybody. Because here's the thing, music touches everyone's soul in a different way. So just because you may listen to Bruno Mars, Ariana Grande, Selena Gomez, and they might touch you a certain way, The Weeknd and Drake touch you a different way. So what about an up and coming artist? They might actually touch you in a completely different way. So why not? There's enough room for everybody.
I love it. Let's do it. I'll do it with you.
Perfect. Let's go.
Now, what is your favorite part about being a radio DJ? And is there a particular aspect of the job that brings you the most joy?
I would say my favorite part is every day is always different. It's not boring. I can't do a 9 to 5, doing the same redundant stuff over and over. I get bored very easily. So for me, there's always something new to talk about. Yes, we do have to also talk about station-related things and things that are, repetitive. Maybe the music's a little repetitive, but our conversations and our topics are timely. News breaks constantly. There's always something new to talk about. And for me, I enjoy that. I enjoy being able to kind of be on my toes. I work better under pressure too. So if something's coming out right now, I'm right on it. Even if I just got a little bit of information on it, I'll give you what I have and I'll be like, I'll come back with more.
I love it. You're completely on the ball there, and that's why you've had a great career.
Thank you.
Over 20 years in the industry, and everybody knows you, and you are completely part of the iHeart family to the point where you are. You think of Astra on the air, and you're like, oh, iHeart. You the big heart right behind you because you just bring so much joy to people when you're on the radio.
You're
so
so
it's amazing.
Sweet. Can I have you opening my show every day?
You got it. I'll come on. Anything you need. All right. Well, last question. And this is something I ask every radio personality that comes on. What is the one piece of advice that you have to your younger self?
Never give up. Always follow your dreams and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You're going to get a ton of no's. That's how it is in everything in life. But you're going to get that one yes. So don't let it deter you.
I love it. Words of wisdom spoken by a true beauty. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Zen, so much for having me. I appreciate this.
Absolutely. Guys, definitely check out the incredible Astra. Check out her IG check her out on her IG profile or directly on her website at Astra on the Air. You can head directly to astraontheair.com.
And you can't forget Twitter, TikTok,
and all of the
Threads,
above.
Facebook, everything. All
Threads.
Astra on the Air across the board. And I
LinkedIn.
do TikTok live a lot. So definitely come join because I'm always live in the studio.
You got it. Well, we're definitely going to check you out. That was our entertainment and pop culture segment brought to you by DJ Cucina. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Caldwell Soames Incorporated, investing globally in transformative businesses like Original Digital Corporation, or ODC. ODC develops advanced consumer and commercial fintech solutions such as OG Pay, which will transform the way you manage your money. From sending and receiving money globally for free, paying for goods and services in person and online, pay bills, buy and sell digital currencies, all while earning interest. OG Pay is easy to set up, FDIC insured, and your information is secured. Check out ogpay.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our all-new Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, we're featuring my good friend, actress McKenzie Westmore, famously known for her role on the soap opera Passions, but truly she's been in a ton of TV. Impressively, she created her own cosmetics line 8 years ago called Westmore Beauty, which can be found on the QVC and on westmorebeauty.com. McKenzie got into the business to help women feel sexy and amazing. She's joined by the beautiful Nikki Giavasis. She's a wellness advocate, coach and entrepreneur, author, and mega influencer. Today, we're joined by beauty industry trailblazer Lana Kerr, CEO and founder of CO2 Lift and Lumisque Skincare. Today, we're chatting women's health, non-invasive procedures, and are you ready for it? Vaginal rejuvenation. That's right. We're going to chat all about how Carboxy therapy is proprietary and all its incredible uses revolutionizing the industry. It's a non-invasive procedure involving the therapeutic use of carbon dioxide for skin regeneration. When infused into the skin, CO2 immediately diffuses at the cutaneous and muscular microcirculatory levels, resulting in higher tissue oxygenation and neoangiogenesis. The blood vessels widen, increasing the transport of oxygen, body tissues for cellular regeneration and anti-inflammatory effects. It's actually a treatment that's been around since the 1930s, though the method of delivery has improved since then with a gel delivery system called CO2 Lift. But don't take my word for it. Join the conversation now. Welcoming to the show are my dear friends, McKenzie, Nikki, and Lana. Welcome, stunners.
Oh.
Hi. It's
Thank
a
you for having
beauty
us.
fest. Absolutely. So, Lana, let's dive right in, and I'm going to start with you. So, carboxy therapy uses carbon dioxide to stimulate blood and lymph circulation to the area being treated and improve circulation, elasticity, fine lines and wrinkles, and all that good stuff. But the old way to administer carboxy therapy was by subdermal injection of CO2 with a thin gauge needle, so to speak. And this application caused some pain and discomfort and also left minor bruising. What is the new improved method, and what is CO2 Lift carboxy therapy gel?
So that was great, by the way, Zen. The new method is actually a gel delivery system. And that was actually developed in Japan. And it's really interesting that that's where it was developed, because even before the French delivery system in the 1100s, there were carbonic hot springs in Japan that the samurai warriors after battle would go and bathe in there, which would very quickly regenerate their tissue. So it's interesting that they developed, we have a patented gel formulation in which we have the exclusive rights to that, and that's called CO2 Lift.
Wow. So you've done your homework here. So increasing the presence of wound repair factors and growth factors, which also help cells turn over faster, and reducing the appearance of aging and scars and stretch marks and more. I mean, this is great. Stimulates collagen and elastin production, which of course promotes elasticity and helps retain hydration. And I was reading on your website that improving local metabolism and elimination of waste products, which helps the body heal and localize the damage, such as the scars and acne, hyperpigmentation, which is really interesting. So I love what you've kind of offered to the world here. Now, McKenzie, you have been very, very vocal as of lately about non-invasive procedures. You are the great-granddaughter of British hairdresser George Westmore, who established Hollywood's first ever hair and makeup department in 1917. You have a family star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for your family's contributions to the industry, yet there you were suffering in silence over bad fillers. When did you
Yeah.
start to notice negative effects and migration on your face? And what non-invasive procedure currently is working for you?
To be honest with you, Zen, I didn't notice it. It took Dr. Paul Nassif to point out to me the problems that were going on because I had just gotten so far lost into the woods. I mean, I think many people know my story of suffering from anorexia in my 20s, being on a soap opera that wanted me to be super skinny, but when you go through anorexia, it eats muscle. So then I had to turn to filler at 24. And that's way too young to be filling your face. So my face looked good for them. My body looked finally good. And then it just spiraled and went downhill from there. And when I went into Dr. Nassif, that's when he said, I thought I had breast implant illness. And he said, no, it's your face. You have facial implant illness, basically. And it took him 10 hours to dissolve, 2 weeks to dissolve what he could, and then a 10-hour surgery to remove the fillers, scrape it off my bone. And he said in his 30 years, he'd never seen anything like what I was dealing with. I was testing positive for fibromyalgia, lupus. Touch wood, I'm not now. It's because it was all pushing on my lymph nodes. And now that we've released it, my health has been top notch. So I'm very grateful. That's why we also started the podcast Demystify Beauty, to help others know what to look for, when to look for things. And I finally have realized that fillers for me and all that are not the way that I need to go. And it's not the way anyone needs to go. Anytime I can find something that I can use in my own home is a blessing. I do personally love lasers, and with Westmore Beauty, that's why I've gone down that road of helping others to find out with the 60-second eye effects. We're getting ready to launch something that is for deep wrinkles that lasts 24 hours, and expression lines. So that's really been a big drive for me with Westmore Beauty, is to get away from anything injecting in and things that you can do on top.
I love it. And I love that the at-home treatment as well, right? I personally have metal plate under my orbital and screws down my nasal passage from a facial fracture stemming in 2012. And I'm not eligible for any fillers or even lasers. So for me, something like CO2 Lift is a skin saver and the best anti-aging secret in my personal circumstance. But yeah, these are the types of products I love to talk about, and I love because they're non-invasive and you can actually try them and see for yourself if the results are as stated, and more importantly, it's not going to cause a dent in your wallet. Now, Nikki, Nikki, welcome back, Stunner. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, you recently explanted your breast implants with the amazing Dr. Rankin in Jupiter, Florida, and you're all about prioritizing your health. You recently mentioned that you wanted to opt for non-invasive procedures in beauty and skincare overall. I mean, you're a grandma, and for those of you that are listening and not watching yet, she's absolutely stunning. I can't even believe she's a grandmother. What beauty routines are you currently endorsing, and what are your thoughts on something like CO2 Lift? Would you try it?
I would actually love it because it is non-invasive. I've tried a lot of alternative methods because I'm just not a person that can take filler. Obviously, I couldn't take the breast implants, so they had to immediately come out. But I've tried a lot of things that are non-invasive, or even I think being Greek and growing up and like learning like home remedies would be like put egg whites on your face and it like literally like snatches your face. Or there's like certain things, even like a hydrofacial or PRP or something like that. To me, that's as far as I pretty much want to go, is like something that is stimulate. Oh, actually, I've tried ozone as well. So like certain IVs and certain modalities like that, and like infrared sauna, boosting circulation, cryotherapy, cryofacials, all of those work well for me.
I love it. And it's interesting because in this particular case, I know that there's a great product that CO2 has. It's the CO2 Lift Pro. It's the strongest version on Carboxy gel, and it's only available to aesthetic and medical providers. So there is an in-office or at-home treatment that delivers CO2 cutaneously over 35 minutes to an hour. And this transdermal non-invasive facial mask is recommended for post-procedure care after invasive procedures such as needling or even laser. So you could couple this with any of that. You know, it's great. Now, Lana, this is amazing stuff. You're hearing me endorse it. A take-home treatment proven to have similar results to injections. I mean, focusing on solving anti-aging skin without the use of machines and aggressive peels or injections or cosmetic surgery. This really, really speaks my language. I know that you mentioned it was beneficial to all providers, surgical, aesthetic, medical, and estheticians. You have that up on your website. But the powerful anti-aging and aesthetic solution is not only just designed for the face, it's for the eyes, the body, and the vagina. So tell me about this. It regenerates the vulva, vaginal tissue, and effectively also apparently heals diabetic ulcers in as little as 4 treatments. That the two are mutually not exclusive. But how is the CO2 created? And can you talk to me about the CO2 Lift V?
Okay, awesome. Well, yes. Well, for diabetic ulcers, just to show you how powerful a simple gel that you can do at home is, it can actually close a non-healing wound in as little as 8 days with 4 treatments. So every other day taking. So, you know, vulva-vaginal skin is similar to any skin on our bodies. And we just, as women, we hardly notice it or take care of it or talk about it. I think things are changing in that direction, but it really started with something that was personal to me, my own sex life. And, you know, I noticed when I got into my 40s that, you know, my relationship with Terry in terms of my enjoyment changed. I was just not feeling him in the same way. And I went to my gynecologist and I told her how I was feeling. And she just explained that tissue gets thinner. We lose blood flow. So our pleasure organ, our clitoris, starts to shrink because we're losing blood flow. And so we don't feel as sensitive, and then we may get drier. So she actually was recommending an energy-based device in her office, which I gladly signed up for. But leaving, I thought we had something already that we were using, CO2 Lift Pro, that works very similar to an energy-based device, because energy-based devices control damage to the skin to elicit a healing response. Well, CO2 gas, carboxy therapy, does the same thing. When you put the gel on whatever area, the gas penetrates right to the muscular level. So, and then what happens is it starts a healing response. So I went to one of my advisory boards who was a cosmetic gynecologist, and I just basically said, what do you think about this? And he said, Lana, let's try it. It will work, I'm sure. So we did a pilot study, 10 women at first, just a proof of concept, double blind, which means that the patient doesn't know what they're taking, nor does the investigator. And we started with just a general FSFI questionnaire, which is a standardized questionnaire index, which just measures, for instance, orgasm, desire, lubrication. And the ones that used the ultrasound gel, the placebo, showed no changes. The one that used the CO2 Lift technology showed significant changes in all areas. So we did biopsies. And when you look at that tissue after 10 treatments, those women in their 60s, it looked like a woman in their 30s. I mean, that tissue was healthy and vibrant. So we duplicated the study with a larger group. In fact, now we just got another IRB approval. We're adding stress incontinence to that. So women who cough and pee, because that is atrophy is responsible for that, because we are helping that. Women are experiencing, they can cough, they can jump on a trampoline and not pee. So yeah, it has changed. I mean, before we even started, I always tell the story, but my mom and my aunts, they went from sandpaper to butter. And I was really excited about that.
Okay, well, you've convinced me. Now, that's fantastic. I thank you so much for that, for that exposition. Now, McKenzie, you're the founder of Westmore Beauty, right? So we've talked about this. You're a mother, you're an actress, a public figure, a wife. And I know that with all that's going on, it's hard to balance everything, especially our female hormones. And although I'm not that old, I'm still in my 30s, I tend to experience some vaginal dryness and hormonal fluctuations, especially during that time of month, causing me to feel some discomfort. So in this particular case, a product like CO2 Lift V solves this issue for me naturally. But can you share tips and advice on this topic? And what do you say to our fellow sisters out there feeling shy or uncomfortable about this?
Well, first of all, I have to say, Lana, I need to try this. Now seeing Zen Skin, I'm blown away. So I need to try this. But talking about this other part, going down a little bit, going deep. I will be honest that I did go through uterine cancer late last year, early this year. And thank God was caught in time. And through all the surgeries that I had to have, unfortunately, it left me like the Grand Canyon. So with that, I turned to something called Thermiva. And for me, because I didn't know about this, because it did help within one treatment, it completely changed me. It was an in-office procedure, very non-invasive. It was really like almost like getting laser work done, but zero pain. And it was like 10-15 minute treatment, and then that was it. I was back to normal. So my doctor did suggest getting surgery, but I just was like, I've been through so many surgeries. I just was surgeried out. I think my body had it, and I just was not, especially for something like that, I was not ready to go to surgery. So I thought I'm going to try lasers, see what works, and thank God this did work. So I'm back to normal, back to good health.
So there you go. It's a real thing. I'm sitting there feeling shy about it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to feel shy about it. Like every now and then, we're not always. Nikki's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't experience any of this stuff. Well, Nikki, you are very passionate about detoxifying your body from within, especially after having battled mold poisoning. You were evacuated from your home, and you dealt with many symptoms. What did the mold do to your skin, and how are you addressing some of the long-term damage from the mold poisoning?
Well, it first made me lose a lot of weight. So then there was the laxity issue. I had a lot of like patches of some kind of crazy rash. So the dryness, because of the way it dehydrates you, like from the inside out, like your organs, your brain, it's almost like everything's affected, plus your blood. So that's why I did the ozone treatments, where they put take out my blood, centrifuge it, and put it back in. So it was a lot of kind of rebuilding and rejuvenating to like kind of get to like a baseline of where I was.
Yeah, so it took a lot. I know mentally and emotionally you were not feeling yourself, you were not looking like yourself or acting like yourself. But when you look at something like the CO2 Lift Pro as a medical monotherapy, I mean, it's a great course of action, because it could treat severely dry skin and itchy skin, speedy healing of wounds, like Lana said, and increased blood flow. But they also have the CO2 Lift Pros and aesthetic monotherapy. So that means for fine lines and wrinkles and creepy-ish skin and dark circles and inflamed skin and textural imbalances and enlarged pores, dull tones, all of that stuff. So it's also safe when applied to upper eyelids and on mucosal membranes. So it's definitely a product that, if you're looking for, that non-invasive, all natural route, this is probably one of those products out there. And I just want to get your opinion. So thank you so much for coming on, ladies. This was so enlightening.
Thank you.
I want to try this product ASAP.
Yes.
Absolutely. Lana, any closing thoughts, my darling?
Well, first of all, I love what both of these women represent. I love that they speak out on natural beauty and just really getting older, but in a graceful way. And so I'd really encourage anyone out there who's interested in that sort of dynamic, in order to preserving, because we're getting older every day, to consider trying the CO2 Lift.
Absolutely. And so with that said, that was our Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift. Definitely have to check out their incredible products. Head to co2lift.com and definitely check out McKenzie Westmore on the gram at @MWestmore. And her products are also incredible. Head to westmorebeauty.com. And don't forget to check out our influencer, Nikki Giavasis, at Nikki Giavasis Official. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Navay, a members-only travel portal exclusively available through Organo, offering members steep discounts on nightly or weekly hotel stays, cruises, auto rentals, excursions, and so much more. With its travel getaway portal, Navay makes the days of surfing multiple travel sites and spending hours evaluating the best deals done with. That's because with Navay, you are guaranteed the best prices. Plus, to gain access to an even more expansive collection of condos, hotels, hotels, cruises, vacation villas, fantasy getaways, and concierge service, there's Forever Weeks. Simply purchase a Navay Forever Weeks package one time and enjoy the benefits many times. With Forever Weeks, forever means forever. Not only does Navay guarantee you the best prices, but it is also one of the few travel portals that pays a referral bonus, in addition to you earning rewards points, which can be redeemed on the Travel Getaway portal for further discounted hotel room rates. Become a member today and Navigate the world of travel. Navay, the world for you to experience. For more information, go to navay.travel. That's Navay, Nave.travel.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to a Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up in just a moment, joining me in studio in our Travel Treasures segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, we're featuring celebrity chef Andrew Mullen. As the son of a successful New York restaurant owner, Andrew developed a passion for the hospitality industry at a very early age. And while working for his family's restaurant, Samalita, it all began from there. Poised to carve out his own niche in New York's competitive marketplace, he transitioned out of the family business and has made a significant impact in leadership roles for some of the finest restaurants in New York, including Insieme inside the Michelangelo Hotel, Chez Josephine, Southgate Restaurant in the Jumeirah Essex House, the Plaza Food Hall, which in the Plaza Hotel existed once upon a time, but these are very notable properties. Restaurant Gordon Ramsay in the London Hotel, Topping Rose House, Jean-Georges, and Todd English's Enterprises. Now, I literally know every one of those places. He currently operates out of Boston and New York with 5 Ludlow, Vermont locations and 1 in Windham, New York. He's recently partnered up with Isola on Shelter Island in the Hamptons. But for now, let's head up north, the 87. Now, could upstate New York's food scene finally be getting the credit it deserves? Well, Bloomberg Magazine recently published a list of restaurants in upstate New York worth the drive from New York City. Now, skyrocketing real estate prices of the ritzy Hamptons have not only pushed hungry travelers elsewhere, but also renowned chefs. Trading congested cities for charming small towns and bucolic backgrounds, chefs headed to the hills for beautifully restored spaces and easier access to fresh ingredients in the heart of farm country. Today, Andrew joins me right here at iHeart headquarters in-house to chat from Hamptons to Vermont, celebrity restaurants and VIP scenes you ought to be checking out, either on a day trip or even over a weekend. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Andrew Mullen. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So
it only took me planes, trains, and automobiles to get here, but I'm here.
I love it that you've joined us in-house. So let's chat Vermont. So Vermont has long been recognized as a hub for locally sourced fresh ingredients that make their way from farm to plate in a matter of hours, if not minutes. Green Mountain State is where the farm-to-table movement is more than just a trend, it's a way of life. Should people be eating farm to table, in your opinion? Where should people be eating in Vermont? And talk to me about the importance of using natural and fresh ingredients.
Oh my goodness, the food scene in Vermont is unbelievable. You have some great local produce, and you have great meat purveyors like Vermont Wagyu, which is unbelievable. You have Vermont fresh pasta. The list just goes on. There's so much great things out of that state. And not only just is it known for skiing and for the summer activities, but the food scene is incredible. And if you're hungry, it's definitely a fun place to go to.
And what are your top favorite restaurants there?
Listen, you know what? I'm in a small town called Ludlow, Vermont, and there's so many great places around there. And just to go an hour up to like Manchester or even to Rutland or even down to Springfield or even across to Burlington, there's so many great places to go. The list could just go on. So I don't want to just say a couple people out there because there's so many great chefs and restaurateurs that deserve so much recognition.
Absolutely. It's definitely a hub for great fresh produce. Now, upstate New York, interestingly enough, is home to the best city food festival in the U.S. In fact, USA Today's favorite city food festival contest put 20 cities and their foodie events together in competition, and readers voted, and the number one city festival worth traveling for was awarded to Taste of Buffalo. So visitors will find regional specialties at this Buffalo Food Fest in spades, from beef on weck to sponge candy, buffalo wings, and New York State wines. And a bonus to the delicious bounty, the actual annual event also raises scholarship money for college-bound students who are committed to studying hospitality and culinary arts. In its history, the event probably has raised and awarded more than $575,000 in scholarships to high school seniors. So I definitely love to shout them out. Now, Andrew, with so much history throughout the entire state of Massachusetts, we all know that some establishments throughout the Bay State date back at least a few centuries. You have many historic restaurants still holding up today. And according to Best Things Massachusetts, the Stagecoach Tavern at Race Brook Lodge has stood the test of time since it was built, and it was named among the best historic restaurants in the Bay State. What are your Boston favorites?
Oh, listen, I live in Charlestown, so I'm always at a great old staple, which is the Warren Tavern. They still have some great food. But there's so many great places in Boston, also what Boston is great for is their seafood, and there's so many great seafood places. There's a group that's really coming together and opening a lot of places, and there's Lincoln, you have Monument. That group has really started to open up new places. But there's a lot of great staples. Ken Oranger is one of my favorite chefs who has Little Donkey. I go there all the time. Uni is probably one of my favorites. Is Japanese food, and I have to say, I shout out Ken Oranger. I think he's one of the best chefs in Boston.
I love it. Well, there's some great tips from you. You're a local there, and you pretty much know the city inside
absolutely.
out.
I can't get enough of that uni spoon. Oh, the caviar, the uni, a little bit of yuzu. Oh, you just can't go wrong.
Well, coming from a chef, we're definitely gonna have to check it out. Now, okay, let's chat Hamptons, because you're a big figure there. So eating in the Hamptons is all about how you do it. I mean, you can find yourself in mediocre, overpriced restaurants that you'll regret stepping foot into, or you can discover the best of the best by doing some research. And the Hamptons has it all. Taco stands. I know you love taco stands.
Tacos
Clam
and tequila.
shacks. They have sit-down restaurants that, while admittedly pricey, actually serve great food in nice environments. You just have to make reservations wherever you can to avoid the peak season. So what are your top spots?
Actually, I just ate one the other night, and Julia Medina has done a great job with El Verano in Southampton. It's a new restaurant just opened a couple weeks ago, and I had the pleasure of going there, and the food was phenomenal. He had a bronzino that was butterflied, and it was just so delicious with the verde on it. And then you can't go wrong with the other Mexican staples he has there. But I also want to, if you want a scene, you go up to Crow's Nest. I ate there the other day. You can go down the beach. You have a beautiful view. Watch the sunset. Have a couple drinks. Go up and have a great meal. The seafood list purveyor lists out there of different restaurants and different places to eat is phenomenal. You did hit it on the head, though. A lot of places are pricey. So you do have to navigate correctly if you are living by a budget, which most of us are right now.
Yeah, I mean, who's crazy prices, inflation so high, and it's a couple $100 to go out and have a nice meal and enjoy it, especially if you're going to be drinking. And regarding the Hamptons, I always tell people, if you've procrastinated picking a spot or simply in a rush, there's a handful of specialty shops, right, including Loaves and Fishes, Hen of the Woods, Ville Italian specialties, and even Citarella. Although none of them are that cheap, because you're going to still go do groceries and come out spending $150, but they do offer excellent grab and go meals and snacks. So it's definitely an alternative, right? You're a big fan of picnics.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of picnics, but even going to the other day, I'm always cooking in my restaurants. I finally decided to take a day off. I went to the beach. I see this person has this little barbecue on the beach and this little table, and I was looking at it, and there's a great new feature on Amazon where you can actually scan something and find it on there. So I was kind of zooming in and scanning. So I ordered myself this little table, this little grill. I said, let me go to the beach and have some fun. I went and get some groceries. I never really take a day off. I didn't get out of there for less than $200 for two people to go eat. So again, being in a kitchen, I'm used to wholesale, but even the food costs in the kitchen are so high now. But just going to the supermarket, it's astronomical where it's going. But with that said, it's always fun to go and do a little something on the beach.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Now let's chat your career. So
okay.
Who inspired you to pursue the culinary arts, and how did you end up surrounded by all these celebrities, ultimately becoming a celebrity chef yourself, so to speak?
So I'm very fortunate. I have a very strong mother who's been in this industry for a very long time. Most parents take their kids home from the hospital. She took me straight to our bar lounge. My school bus picked me up, dropped me off there. So I was exposed to a culinary scene very young. And as my mother being a restaurateur, there wasn't really a place for me to sit. I couldn't go sit at the bar. I couldn't go really sit at a table because it was a lounge. It was at the restaurant. So I'd hang out in the kitchen. And at a young age, I started washing dishes. I started prepping. I started asking a lot of questions. And then I had a stepfather who was very involved in Le Cirque. So I was able to pick up a lot of things off of him. And I got a great story. I remember asking Cyril Macchioni of Le Cirque one day. I said, you bring all these great culinary minds in, these great maitre d's, these great waiters and support staff and all. How do you know who's good and who's not? He goes, I ask them to smile. If they don't have teeth, they're in the back. If they have teeth, they're in the front. I was like, okay, that's brilliant. But how does that work out?
Wow.
So,
that's some fun stuff. Now, talk to me. What's the best part of your job?
So I love being in the back of house, but I also like being in the front of house. I love coming out and seeing how people are enjoying the food. I love the response back. I love the comments. A lot of people don't like criticism. I love constructive criticism. Thank goodness I don't get a lot of it. I'm very lucky in that point because people do like to say how they feel, as I do. But it's nice to really see someone enjoying a meal, breaking bread with a friend. We all just came out of a long time and not being able to be social. Now we're able to be social. And we're really seeing people coming together and eating and enjoying what we've always known to have, sitting at a dinner table, whether it was at home or in a restaurant. So it's nice to have people coming together once again and breaking bread and to see that joy in people's eyes again.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, what's the hardest part of being a restaurant owner?
With labor costs, food costs, rents, it all plays a factor. And I really don't like having to bring it off onto the consumer to increase the pricing. But I have to. And now in the beginning, people were really upset that food pricing on the menu was going up. But they would literally be verbal about it. Like, have you been to the supermarket lately? Have you seen a difference? An apple used to be 50 cents. Now it's $1. It's not just the supermarkets are getting the same thing as we are. So it's really playing a factor in hitting everyone's pocket. But it's about navigating and building a menu that you're able to meet the masses and understand the financial part of it all.
Yeah, it's very, very stressful out there, not just for the consumer, but to your point, as an entrepreneur, you're factoring in every cost, your labor costs, the price of your produce, the price of the services that you're using, and it's just a ripple effect. It's a domino effect. When inflation hits, it hits every aspect of everyone's life.
Absolutely. For a great example, food costs in one of my restaurants was between 25 and 28, which was industry norm. Now you're looking between 30 and 35.
Wow.
And then you look at the cost of labor. It's gone up. You look at the rents. You look at the electric bills. You get it. You every day open up your bills and you see your credit card statement. You see your water bill. You see your electric bill. It's not just the residential, it's the commercial. And we have to put us all into play to keep the lights on and keep people working. And it's a challenge. Yep,
definitely a challenge. Well, you, my darling, have proven to be quite successful. What is the secret?
What is success?
What is the secret? Well, you're successful. What is the secret to your success?
Oh, that was a good movie back in the day. My secret to success is, you treat people the way you want to be treated. You work with the guests. You work with your colleagues. You work with the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights. Just treat people the way you want to be treated. And, it's at the end of the day, make sure everyone gets paid before you do. And if they're making money, you're making money. If they're not making money, you're definitely not making money.
Yeah, true. Well, Andrew, this was a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on and talk to me. What are your current projects? Tell me about your current projects. Is there anything that you're opening up noteworthy?
So I'm so glad to be back on. I'm really looking at really opening something again in Boston. As everyone knows, it's been a tragic scene up in Ludlow, Vermont. I lost 2 restaurants. One will have to be torn down. The other one is structurally being redesigned. So my things, what I really am looking at is to really get one of the restaurants back open up in Ludlow. And I really want to focus in on secondary, thirdary markets where I purchased the piece of property, so I'm not paying these high rents, and I'm able to make a profit and pay my staff more and have a better experience. So I like the mountain towns. I really like the big cities. Those rents are just way too much. But I do want to have a restaurant back in Boston.
Beautiful. Well, God willing, with a lot of hard work and perseverance, you will get there. I have no doubt. You've done it once. You're going to do it again.
listen, when there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, Andrew. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. That was our travel treasure segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. That was celebrity chef Andrew Mullen. Definitely check him out on andrewmullen.com, or you can check him out on IG and Twitter at Andrew Mullen, Molen. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Caldwell Soames Incorporated, investing globally in transformative businesses like Original Digital Corporation, or ODC. ODC develops advanced consumer and commercial fintech solutions such as OG Pay, which will transform the way you manage your money. From sending and receiving money globally for free, paying for goods and services in person and online, pay bills, buy and sell digital currencies, all while earning interest. OG Pay is easy to set up, FDIC insured, and your information is secured. Check out ogpay.com.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and of course, all episodes of A Moment of Zen are now available on Kathy Ireland's Your Home TV streaming platform. You could head directly to our channel there at mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to A Moment of Zen. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember, happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it.